Just going to give a brief overview of the MPPP quantity and cost database, and I want to start out recognizing the work and leadership of Francis Toddy of the Data Task Force. Francis led this group since its inception, got us to where we are today. Francis retired at the end of last year, and so I'm really making this presentation on behalf of the Data Task Force. Give a little bit of background. Started out with a recognition of the value in sharing quantity and cost information between agencies. Francis always liked to say it's good to take a look over the fence and see what your neighbors are doing. So the group sort of had a recognition of the value in that data. And so back in 2016, they started collecting treatment information in an Excel spreadsheet. And there were some limitations in that it really could only be shared by email. It wasn't publicly accessible. A lot of the data they were providing to that was in different units, and so it was hard to make a comparison between the information that had been provided. So in 2020, they enlisted the help of NCPP and funded the development of an online database. And the rationale for that database is really that it provides a regional average cost for each treatment. Another benefit of that is, as an agency, if you're looking to try a treatment for the first time, where would you go to get cost information about that? And so we have a database on the TSP2 website. If you go to the TSP2 Pavement page, and under the technical tab, you will see a link there for the treatment quantity and cost database. So I have a few screenshots here within the database. This is the main page of the database, and it has a list of all of the data entries that have been done. So each state will go in and make an entry for each of the treatments they do. We have a total of about 160 treatments, and so it's a fairly robust data set already for the Midwest, and that doesn't include, they have not done their data entry for 2021 yet, so they'll be putting that in the next month or so. And so all of the treatments are here. We have one. The Midwest involves a number of Canadian provinces, and so we have this information both in US units and metric units for the Canadian participants. And so there's two sets of databases. It also has the Canadian information in Canadian dollars, metric units. It does the conversion between US dollars and Canadian dollars, and so that's why you see the exchange rate on there. But it's usable by both the groups, and then that information is converted, so it's understandable in each other's units. Each of these columns within the database are sortable. You can look at it by year, you can sort by agency. There is project cost information here, and that is capturing total project cost, inclusive of things like your traffic control, your mobilization, your striping. If you include things like guardrail into your projects, that'll be reflected there. And then we also ask to collect information on material costs. So that is stripping out all of those extra items and focusing solely on the material cost of the treatment. It also converts that total material cost per lane mile down to a material cost per square yard, and so you can really look at that, make an apples to apples comparison. We have quantity here. Tried to make it easy for states to enter the information in the form that they had it. So for some of these treatments, if we talk about chip seal, for example, some agencies may say we do this many lane miles of chip seal or this many square yards of chip seal. Others may have their quantities in terms of gallons of emulsion, tons of aggregate, some other form of measurement. And so it's allowing the agency to enter that data in the way they have it and still arrive at that square yard cost. We ask for treatment service life, estimated life extension. We talk about who the work is performed by, whether these costs are reflective of work done by a contractor, whether that work is done in-house, or whether it's a combination of both. There's a comment field, so supplemental information that they may have related to their treatment can be shared with others. And finally, there's contact information for the person who supplied that information so that anybody interested in their data can get a hold of them directly and have further discussion. The information in the database is shareable in Excel. It can be exported to Excel or CSV. And so further refinement of that data can be done at an individual state level. This is what the data entry form looks like. We've tried to make it as simple as possible. A lot of it uses drop downs where applicable, so you can do the drop down for the treatment for your state, enter in the year. All of this information is collected annually, as I said, lane distance and so on. There's a separate terminology and definitions page. So if there's questions on the terminology, what does treatment service life mean? If there's questions about a specific treatment, what that is, the definitions are there as well. Then we have a number of reports available. You can click, this is down at the bottom of that main page, and you can click on any of the treatments and it will filter that data down to the specific treatment you're looking for information for. And so there's also the opportunity down the road to add additional reports to filter that data in another way if you're looking by year or some other subset of data you're looking to take a look at. In conclusion with this, it's really an invitation for the Southeast to get involved in this data collection effort as well. The Midwest has developed this database, and so if the Southeast is interested in forming a task force to work on supplying information to this same database, the Midwest would be happy to have you be involved in that effort. If you decide to do that, it doesn't make it mandatory for an agency to provide data. It's all on a voluntary basis. Is there any questions about anything?
Neal, I don't know if we covered, can states go back and insert historical data? So if we wanted to backfill 2016, 17, 18, if that's available to the states?
Sure. I mean, when you go in and enter that data, it's a blank year field, so you can put any year you want. Obviously, right now we're kind of in a period of time where costs have gone up significantly over the past year, so some of that historical data may not be as usable to get a sense of what current costs are as it might have been otherwise. But the hope is, as we get back to more stable costs of our treatments, that this current data we have will be more usable.
Thank you, Neal. Let's give him a hand of applause.
The preceding was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found on the web at pavementpreservation.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.